stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 3, orders. A, consideration possible action of order 2020-05-2-028. Do you have a second?
Second.
Mr. Mess, will you please?
Yes, sir, Mayor and members of council, this is a settlement and general release agreement, otherwise known as a separation agreement between the city and the city manager, Edward Johnson. It was negotiated by our outside employment attorney and Mr. Johnson's attorney. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's Mr. Johnson's waiving claims that he could bring against the city in exchange for receipt of his severance agreement, which was negotiated in the original employment contract at 25%. And he resigns effective the execution by both parties of this agreement, and Mr. Johnson has already signed the agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Messer. Members of the council, I call for the question.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Massey, on page 3, number 9, notice of time for reflection waiver. Could you explain that where it states there, and he may revoke this agreement within 7 calendar days after he signs it?
That is specifically, yes, Mayor
Yes,
and
go
members
ahead.
of council, that is specifically relates to one of his claims that he's waiving in this agreement, which is an Age Discrimination and Employment Act. He is waiving the 21 calendar days to consider this agreement because he has had the opportunity to consult with his attorney. However, the 7 days revocation period is not something that can be waived, and so what this agreement states is we have to wait for 7 days after today if the council approves it, and then it will be binding on both parties, and at that point the city would be obligated to cut the checks that we're talking about in this agreement.
After the 7th.
After the 7 days. Yes, sir.
And on page 4, I just want to make sure that there's a clear understanding, even though you just stated that Mr. Johnson has signed the agreement. But on page 4, number 15, confidentiality. To what extent is confidentiality if this entire agreement has been made public? And I understand the request for documents after the fact and this and that and keep it out in the open. I just don't want to be hit with some kind of legal action or something that we broke the confidentiality.
Well, this does state, though, in addition to confidentiality, that there's a non-disparagement agreement, and so after this action today, nobody really should be talking about this. We should just be moving on. The confidentiality provision, though, does have an exception for the open records laws, and we can't obviously go around that. But to the extent, understanding that there are open records that we have to comply with, nevertheless, we should maintain confidentiality from here forward.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I understand item 16 on page 4, non-disparagement with the confidentiality. The only thing I'm just confused is that prior to this, everything has been released to the public without us discussing this in public. I just want to make sure that it doesn't come back that there was a kind of violation that he wasn't aware of, that this entire agreement was made available to the public before we've taken action.
Well, we had to do that consistent with the public records laws and with the open meeting law to make it part of the agenda, and we have complied with that.
And that would be the reason.
We have to
Okay,
because
you
of
have
the
to
law.
do it. That's
Yeah.
why. Okay, and on page 4, number 17, bar, did you interpret that thing?
That is if in contravention of the terms of this agreement, Mr. Johnson does nevertheless file an action against the city, this agreement would be pled as a defense and it would bar the claim.
All right, Mr. Mayor, everything else, I've reviewed and have an understanding of this agreement as it is written.
Thank you. Any more discussion before we take a vote? None? Letty, we're gonna have a roll call vote, please.
Yes, sir.
Start with the vice mayor.
Aye.
Mr. Diaz,
Aye.
Mayor Danilo,
Aye.
Mrs. Lopez,
Yes.
Mr. Barona,
Yes.
Mr. Maldonado,
Aye.
Mr. Veneciano.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Unanimous.
And with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
It's adjourned.
Thank you, Mr.